on that call next Tuesday.
There you go. Be on the call. End out the year in a good spirit. I think it's going to be very powerful. Thank you. Okay, why don't we go ahead and let's get Robert up. Robert's got a great program, and he'll be spending most of tonight's call will be with Robert, because I know how important this is. Robert's info is to our members, so we do give him that time. All right, Robert, come on up.
Hey, Robert.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thanks, Robert.
Okay, thank you. Again, before I get started, I want to thank Steve and Charlie for making this possible and standing up with me. I appreciate that, guys, very much.
You're welcome.
Yes, you're welcome.
I want to. It's odd that I was sitting here listening, hearing all this thing about people's illnesses, problems, and talking about health and stuff. And it just happens to be part of what I chose to do tonight. But my materials I'm going to share with you tonight, I'm not going to go into any details as far as one set of materials. I'm going to hit a variety of areas to kind of give you an idea of what we do and the league. By the way, my contact number, if you want to get through to see if you want to get hold of me, would be to go to Robert. Personally, learned over the years. No person taught me this. It's called Sanyama. This is something that I've been involved with probably, ever since I was 8 years old. And that's well over a half a century for me. So, and I'm still doing it today. I wouldn't change it for anything in the universe. Sanyama has been around for about a little over 56,000 years now. It came down mainly through China. It was turned loose on the planet Earth prior to that, during a 50,000 year period. And then we had a lot of people who started trying to abuse it, misuse it, so it was pulled away after a while and held back until it was given to a man in China that the universe, I guess, chose out him particularly and gave him this insight about Sanyama. He took off and gave up everything in the everyday world, moved into a cave, started the idea of the monks, so to speak, and he stayed there and carved all this information and stuff into the walls of the caves that he was in. And it was passed down from the father to his eldest son, the father to his eldest son, to father to son, father to son for 6,000 years. To give you some idea how important this has been, how successful it's been, how effective Sanyama is when it's done right and done with people who really want to learn and really want to make it work. It's not something that's going to do a hocus pocus on you and all of a sudden, it's not a red pill like it is in the Matrix. I can't give you a red pill and all of a sudden you're a part of everything. You have to make the effort yourself, but you'll be guided in it step by step by step through the whole thing. And that's what I do with all the people that I work with. They're all neo-thinkers as well, including myself. And so we've had people that are still going at it. They've been with us for some time. They've studying. They've come up with all kinds of experiences and skills are starting to show up. This is not something that an average person can get into, like people that are AC in particular. It's way, way too far over their head. It does involve basics. I want to emphasize basic science. It's not literal. You don't have to get in there and get into all the mathematics and get big words put on you and all that. I'll break all that down for you step by step. And we do that until you get it. And then you also share this with you and teach you how to do it and work with you to get you to do it and be successful with it. And we've had some pretty good successes. And again, it's on the individual. So this thing that came down to China. That's why you'll hear some of the terminology, some of the words are Chinese, and I'll translate them for you. So you can understand what Sanyama is. That's what I'm going to. The material I'm reading to you on that is stuff that I personally have written. This is not available in any other place on the planet. I repeat, this is not available anyplace else on this planet. We've had people, which is, I'm glad they're doing it. They get on the internet and they hunt, and when they do, every once in a while we have somebody found a little bit about it, but they said it was nowhere near what I was sharing with them, and it was going in the religious direction, headed off in religion. And so...
This is the Tuesday night call, 4 p.m. Enjoy.
Other people that are friends of mine around the world, they're doing what I'm doing. They're in different parts of the world, and I'm here in the United States. They're in different parts of the world doing this. And it's not to be boasting or anything, but we are the only one in the United States teaching this. And taking people through all this. And so, Sanyama, as I say, came down from father to son. When I got into the cave aspect of it, that particular father eventually got started a variety of other monks, people who became monks, and that's how they, in the Himalayas, the idea that the monks living in the mountains and all that kind of got started. And he was teaching them about Sanyama, the things that the universe had given him and told him he was supposed to teach, just as what was given to me. It was given to me that way. I had witnesses present whenever it actually appeared, and asked me to do this. And this it. I've been doing it ever since. This is, and it goes right along. I work it myself because I said I'm a member of the society too. Mark is, he's quite a person. Actually, I see a lot more in Mark than what I think he thinks the average person and members might see in him, because I can see beyond illusions and stuff and into the characteristics of an individual. And he's mentioned sometimes, if you listen to some of the things he says in his books, you'd catch it, and you'd realize, wow, he's using a lot of the same terminology, but yet he's kind of cloaked it a little bit. So there's a lot of hidden mysteries in what he teaches. The same thing in Sanyama. There's hidden messages in what you learn on these pages. If somebody gets a page or two or a bunch of paperwork and they think they got all the answers about Sanyama, they really don't. There's secrets written into the page, into the materials. And like I say, those are over 6,000 years old. And with the clarity of the understanding, as a person grows in their own consciousness, then they can get to the state where they will be able to seek out these secrets. Sanyama deals in frequencies, any form of energy, healing or whatever, defense, improving consciousness, expanding consciousness, any energy in the universe, and any energy on the planet, and any energy in a human body. Sanyama covers all that. That's what's been making it last so many years, because it covers such a wide area of life. And I have a point in here, one little section I'm going to try to give it to you just from a point of life. Living this, get out there. This is what can happen to your life if you're not doing this, and this is what's going to happen if you're doing this. And I'll be more specific when we get to there. And you'll get an idea hopefully to see how Sanyama is quite diverse. It's actually a force that can be taught in many different aspects of the world. It can be actually repositioned and in such a way you can teach it to any race, any country in the world. Of course, right now, we deal with it here in English. So, I'm going to start this on, it's called the Taoist Grand Circulation. Taoist is a Chinese word, and let me clear one thing up real quick. This is a bad Western world approach that people have about the Chinese and their culture. They are not into religion. Sanyama is anything but a religion. It never has been, and it will never be. This is about life. This is about skills. Sanyama will bring you back to your supernatural abilities. You'll be able to learn how to bend space and time right here on the planet. You'll learn how to go invisible, literally, scientifically, not mythology, not mythical. Because there are times it becomes necessary that it's going to do good to be invisible. You learn to understand the thoughts of others. These are some of the powers. There's 9 main powers involved in Sanyama. It's fantastic for healing and expanding consciousness. It's like anything, though. Words alone can't heal somebody. You have to have everything else going with it. And the main thing that goes with that is science. So what I want to say here is about that is that in this thing with Sanyama and in the League, there is no illness, no disease, and this is all scientific. It's easy to prove, but so anyway, there's no disease, no illness of any kind, physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually, let's bring it back to the body. There are no illnesses in a body that are not controlled and be able to be healed through Sanyama or other sources. There are other sources on the planet where healing takes place. But I want to make it clear, though, that there's understanding healing, you have to understand the science of healing. It's not just saying, okay, you learn to do this and do that and do this, and that's just healing. You need to learn the science of healing because, see, there's not an illness or disease that's ever existed on this planet that still exists today that functions, or does not function, I'll say, does not function on the laws of physics. Illnesses are about science. It's not just something strange that pops up. Oh, the flu bug is an example. Oh, that you breathe, you got it in the wrong environment. You breathe the air in and you got the flu. That's not the way it happened. It's not the way it happened, and it's definitely not the way they're doing vaccinations nowadays. They're definitely something you don't want to do. And so, if you understand your body from the scientific point of view, that your body obeys the laws of physics, your entire body does. From your brain down, everything, every system, circulatory, nervous, respiratory, your digestive tract, everything, every organ, all 12 of the main organs function on the laws of physics, plain and simple. I'm not talking heavy-duty stuff now when I say physics. It's really simple to understand. And so that's what it is, a science. That's why we know it works. It is a science. Sanyama is a science. It always has been, and it always will be. When I read this little prelude to grand circulation, you'll see that's what you do. It's circulation means learn how to use your breathing. Sanyama will teach you to breathe right compared to what other people have been doing all their lives. Most people on this planet breathe shallow. Well, you know, most illness can get started just by the way you don't breathe right. Just by the way you don't breathe. You don't breathe correctly. You don't get enough oxygen into the blood, into the red blood cells so they can supply oxygen to the organs. And after years and years of breathing the wrong way, because you're breathing shallow, then the body starts to break down. Illnesses always start at a cellular level. They do not start from the outside and come into your body, like flu and all that other stuff. That is not what happens. That's secondary. Illnesses and diseases start internally due to the laws of physics with the organs being out of harmony with each other at a cellular level, and that's what causes an illness. It leads to a disease. And if that's not taken care of, it can also lead to being fatal. Now, that's all science. It's easily proved. It's all science. It's about learning that you have to learn that every human on this planet, including the higher class animals, you know, horses and other animals like that, dogs, cats, things like that, they all function on the laws of physics too. There's not a thing in your body, my friends, not one tiny little thing in your body that does not follow the laws of the universe. And this is why so many people get caught up in illnesses and diseases and fatal diseases and stuff like that, because they know nothing about the science of their body. They don't understand how their body runs according to the laws of the universe. That's where you came from. Why would you think it'd be any different now just because you're on Earth? Those physical laws and in Sanyama's procedures of healing, I won't cover that. Give you some insight on what life force in the human body, how it really moves in the body. And by that force field, I'm going to give it to you step by step. So I heard Steve tell you get a pen and paper, and he's absolutely right. It's a good idea. I'm only going to put this out this time for you. And you can understand. I'm going to give you step by step by step, from the first organ to the next, to the next, to the next, until we go through all 12 organs in the body. All 12 of your vital organs that are in the body. And I'm going to tell you exactly the order in which life force means you as highness or soul, you generate the life force. That's why you got a body. You keep the body alive. The subconscious mind, you're attached to the right brain of that body. The left brain is controlled by other people. They're called, I think these implanters have been brainwashing people for eons and eons and eons of time. We also, in the league, that's also explained to you. You learn what they've been doing, how they've created this illusion you're in, this maze they got you in, how they've got you under their thumb and make you sick, make you miserable, make you fail, and you get successful, and they knock it out from under you. I can tell you exactly how they're doing it. And they're using a lot of electronics and stuff based on the laws of the universe again, to knock people down, to confusion. And we just call, I just felt bad today when I got up, or you get up and you're all confused. You go, wow, I didn't go to bed feeling this way, but I got up when you're all confused. You can't seem to focus. You can't keep your attention on what you're supposed to be doing. I said, what was I doing? Or what do I got to do now that I'm up? And things like that can get started, all due to low frequencies. Notice, and Yama deals in every aspect of energy. Low frequency, 60 hertz, 60 to 64 hertz, my friends. That's all it takes to get you ill. This planet is full of millions of kinds of energies being projected in all areas and everything. Machinery, cars, Now they're doing it intentionally. 5G is going to be a murder, literally, because it's going to create loads and loads and loads of brain cancer. People, millions of them are going to have that because they don't know anything about the sciences. They don't know how they're going to block a microwave energy from coming to them. And the lead, you're taught how to block off these energies and do it successfully, and you do it scientifically. You know, there's a law in the universe, and in physics it talks about when one force is met by another force coming on the same line, headed for the same point of impact, and they meet each other with the same level of energy, they will eliminate each other right on the spot. One frequency and one level, one momentum traveling on a timeline, and when the other one doing the same thing, and then when they meet, they knock each other out of existence. That's one way you protect yourself once you learn how to do it, including the illnesses and the diseases. Diseases come out of illness. And so it starts internally. There's only 32 real diseases on this planet. 32, that's all. Today, though, you know, there's thousands of them. You get a disease almost for everything. All those came out of 32 real diseases. And there's a mutations that's taken on, and people added their own thoughts and fears and their considerations to it. And it's just spread like wildfire. And people now we got thousands of different illnesses now, out of 32. If you know what you're dealing with, you got a better chance of taking it on. You got to know that the others, anything outside those 32, are facsimiles of the 32. So you handle them as a facsimile. And you use science and the right levels of frequencies, and you can, such as Shanyama provides, because it does teach you to breathe properly, and in that breathing properly, you learn to get the life force in your body to circulate, and it actually starts releasing some of the most powerful energies that any human on this planet could ever hope to ever obtain. It releases that energy into your body, and it literally brings you to a literally and scientifically, supernatural individual. Now, if you don't believe in yourself, you don't believe in the impossible, or well, I don't know, I've got to think about it, maybe it's going to be this, I don't know, then you're probably never going to get it. And of course it won't work for somebody like that. They can sit around and badmouth it all they want because they never took it very far. Try to say, oh, it's bad, and oh, yeah, it didn't work for me, it doesn't do this, it doesn't do that. But every bit of those I can counter with a whole lot of other references out of students inside the group. It had good successes. That's why they're there. So they know that illness starts at a cellular level and can start from poor diet and stuff like that, health, exercise, sure, that adds to it. But see, your mental attitude, mainly the emotional, negative emotions, can cause more illnesses than you would ever think of. Negative emotions. How many of you live every day feeding your, what they call the brain's filter? It's an emotional filter in the brain, and not even realizing that you're packing more and more and more and more negative energies into that brain part called the emotional filter. And now you start perceiving the world as a grumbly, hard, unfriendly environment. And boy, it's dog eat dog, or if you get knocked down, you got to pick up yourself up by your bootstraps and go at it again and get knocked down again. You get invalidated by people. You get invalidated by your left brain. The conscious mind is always invalidating the right side of the brain. Left brain is conscious mind. right brain is subconscious mind. There's where soul operates. The left brain deals in the five senses. That's your conscious awareness, what's going on around you. And people think that's life. That's why AC people are AC, because they're in the beta range of brainwave frequencies. Beta range, the lowest range of frequency a human can get in. Wow. They don't know that there's 4 other fantastic levels above that actually cause conscious awareness, expansion, intelligence. Your intelligence grows. We have an area with some of the advanced students. I even teach them how to deal with and improve their intelligence just by working points on their body. Acupuncture points from China. They've been around for thousands of years. I just teach them about how they can work these points. And it helps their intelligence. Something that's been hid for a long, long time. Which, if you know how the body functions and how that functions by the laws of physics and the 5 elements, then you'll understand disease and illness, and you'll be able to fight it. You'll actually know that if you have a problem with one organ, you'll know exactly where that problem is going to move from this organ to that organ to this organ and to that organ. You'll know exactly what organ in your body is getting ready to get ill next. You see, that's good information to have because you can head it off if you know it's coming. If you don't know and you're just sitting there, okay, well, I'm going to hope I can stop this illness, but you have no idea anything about the illness, much less the organ. Do you understand the organs? So you'll learn how to understand the purpose of the organs because they do integrate with each other. Absolutely they do. So you have to understand how they work with their own laws of physics because those 12 organs actually do work together. They work independently, but they also work according to the laws of physics. In other words, you got 12 organs. I'm going to go through that here in a bit. They got 12 organs in the body, main organs. And they all work in pairs. It's just like the laws of physics are. One force cannot exist without an equal and an opposite force. So if anybody's doing something to say they only got one side to it, then it's not going to be very good unless it's got a scientific equal and opposite force to it. Then that first force will not survive very long. That's just the laws of the universe. That's not me. It's a 2-terminal world, my friends. And the organs know that. And they function in pairs, not singular. If you're going to heal this organ for somebody, do you have any idea what you're going to do with the next organ? What other organ actually communicates with that organ? And how you can actually get energy from one healthy organ and use it to help another organ that's not doing so good? See, that's the things you learn and the lead. So, my main thing is here so you understand. This could go on, and I'm not going to do that, but because it's so, there is no healing like this, because this, in Sanyama, it is all about science. It is not about just healing. It's about healing it scientifically. It's about healing it from within. And if you're helping somebody else, you've got to learn how to help them use their energies to help themselves heal themselves from within. So you're not using your energies like so many people do and put your energies in their body, trying to heal them. I experimented with that myself many years ago. I got sick by 2 different professionals in that area, making good money. And then I let them try to do their thing with me, their energy things with me, dealing in chakras. Both of them made me sick. I wasn't there feeling good. I went home feeling sick. But I was willing to do that. I was doing this for research. But yet they're making all this good money. because they didn't understand chakras very well. And they say they're professionals, have been doing it for a long time. Well, I don't know what happened to them, because first of all, well, I take that back. They don't know the sciences of it. They don't know the science of the chakra. They don't understand how they integrate with each other anymore. They're no different than organs. Chakras also tell you what organs are sick. So this is it's a broad area, but we want people to be successful in whatever they do. And you got to know the sciences. Dr. Wallace was great in that area. He was quite a powerful mind. I've always respected that man, just like I do Mark, because he's one smart individual. And so if you understand that everything starts from the inside out, it's like Marx has always said, don't go out there looking for the problem, looking for the solution. The solution's in here. So why would you think the illness is out there and not in here? And you go out there to try to understand the illness when the understanding is in here. Science, understanding how you function according to basic laws of science. Anybody can get into this without having to be highly educated. I use the simplest but straightforward basic laws of physics. And I break it down to the nitty-gritty of the nitty-gritty and of that nitty-gritty. Because I am determined we're going to make people be successful. So we've had people do pretty good in healing themselves. But there's also one of the powers, is the fourth power in Sanyama, is healing self first. Healing self and then healing others. If a person cannot heal themselves, then how the heck do they think they can really heal somebody else? The blind can't lead the blind. The sick can't heal the sick. So it takes more than just say, well, I'm going to heal. That's nice, but it takes more than that. To be honest about it, that's what it takes. Because and the big question is there any science supporting that approach? Or is it well known that, like it should be, that whatever you do like that must have to have some science behind it, because you're dealing with an electromagnetic body, an electromagnetic human body. It's got all the laws of physics in it, and all the organs. It's not just organs; they do communicate with each other, and they integrate with each other, and they try to support each other. These are things you got to understand how they do, and it's just every bit of this you're taking through over and over until you get it. It's not a one-time shot. We just don't go over once, and if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. No, we do it until you get it. Health is too important to us. It's our lives. 5G, they're going to try to terminate that. I'm going through stuff right now in the group, teaching them how to defend themselves against 5G. Because what they're doing, if you understand the laws of the universe, you look at what they're doing, and you realize what 5G is. And you go, okay, that's an abuse of certain laws of physics. So what do? You look at that and you say, okay, there's the law of physics they're using to destroy man. And so what we do is we use the laws of physics where it says, for every law, for every force, there's an equal and opposite force. So they're using a force, that's for sure. They're using it to harm. So by the laws of the universe, we use the same force opposite of that. And it stops them. Because when the two forces meet, they annihilate each other. I've been on the internet here recently, and I saw it with my own eyes. They were testing it. Finally, somebody got out there and actually testing 5G. They had their little meter watching the numbers jump. how powerful that stuff was? Wow. I mean, in seconds, the numbers were just going skyrocketing up on that monitor that they had until certain things they would do, watch it drop to zero. Wham! See? Because the answer is out there already. How to stop this radiation poison. That's what's going to happen out there. 5G is radiation poisoning because it's unlimited. There's no filters on them like it's been in the past. X-ray rooms in the hospital, they put a filter on it. Still, still risky though, because the doctor tell you, you can't just have one every other day. There's too much radiation. Well, what do you think this 5G is about? It is about unlimited radiation. It's a microwave. And it would literally, like it is with the phones. People are going, when they get these new phones, they're going to be running around holding them to their heads. Get ready. Specialists have already been on the internet trying to warn people. It's going to fry your brain. Yeah, it's going to fry your brain like a piece of meat. Just like if you stuck your brain in a microwave. Because that's what it says up here. It's a microwave. And they're going to use 60 hertz between their towers. Well, anybody that's understands the laws here, you understand that you got two short distances, a space-time continuum or a timeline, either one, between two towers. And they're going to run 60 hertz back and forth. Anybody knows that 60 hertz is very extremely, very powerful and penetrating energy. It'll go through anything, much less a body. It can walk through bodies with, like going through water. It'll go through metal, brick, anything, steel. It'll go right through there. Low frequency spinach that they used in World War I and II. And we know it's real, and we know it works. They were using it to invade the privacy of the Russians during that. They were trying to do the same thing with us. Low frequency, 60 to 64 hertz. Low frequency penetrates. It goes through anything. And if it can travel from this country clear to Russia and pick up stuff out of their war room and bring it back, and they're trying to do the same thing with us. Gee, don't you think that that's pretty powerful? It tells you, boy, that's pretty scientific. There's your proof. It does work. They've been using it. So, it's easy to say we're going to do this and do that, or not this. But I think we all know, actions speak louder than words. What can you do? So, this range that they're in right now with the 5G is deadly to all of us. If you don't know some of the things that are really, in some cases, real simple to do. It protects yourself. Aluminum goes a long ways. Copper will help you, or save you. Copper with a magnet stuck to it. Make a big difference. Magnets do beautiful jobs. The microwave, that's what that is up there. It's a microwave, and it runs on a radio frequency. So you got to know that. Then you realize the microwave is moving according to the distance of a radio frequency, which is one of the longest frequencies we have. It's radio waves, so that's why they're using it. They're running microwave on the radio beam. So it'll go any place they want it to go, any place. Well, if you understand where they're using radio frequencies, you understand more about your body, you might realize, hey, I got some radio frequencies in my body. My whole body functions like that. But you don't know that, see, so you don't know how to even apply that in the first place. How to reach out there and meet two forces, remember, on the same line, and they terminate each other. You take the radio frequency out, and the microwave is not going to go so far. It's not going to be so strong. See, these are the kind of things that we get into. It's Chanel is knowing how to use all the powers and all of the laws of physics in the universe, on the earth, and in your body. You got to learn how to use them all and perfectly defend yourself. I saw a perfect example over the last couple of days of a guy who was trying to disprove some of the stuff and related to blocking off the signals. He was up there trying to make a big thing of that. So, see, this don't work. They say it does. No, they say this works. You see, actually, it doesn't work, and he's running a meter too to check the frequencies. And he really had no idea what he was doing. See, he actually turned around and made a change in what he was doing, and he found out they still didn't. He didn't compromise on it though, because all of a sudden he didn't realize the human body has the same frequency, and you can bounce that energy away from you. He didn't realize that when he was trying to make it look bad. So I'll hold this, I'll touch this, and watch the meter drop. He thought he was disproving something. All he did was prove that a human body and a human person that's at least aware of the 5G energies and stuff and what to do to counter it, then, you know, when you grab hold of something like that, and he didn't even realize he was stopping it, not the item. He was stopping it, because when he put the item down, okay, in this case, the meter would start to run. He'd pick it up and hold it near the meter, and all of a sudden the meter would stop. In other words, the radiation had stopped. The radiation poison stopped right there because he touched it. But he doesn't realize that if he did a supernatural thing as a human, the thing I've been telling all of my people, hey, there's nothing impossible. Nothing is impossible to somebody who believes in themselves and believes in the impossible. And is willing to walk a few thousand miles in his shoes, so to speak. Learn and practice it. Not just learn it and then bail out. That won't get you anywhere. So, it's all about science. It's inside you. That's where the flu only comes later on. When you get sick inside by that 60 hertz, by your poor habits and diet, by negative emotions, well, that'll do it. Negative emotions, fear, anger, hate, frustration, anxiety, suppression, oppression, depression, all of those will start illnesses. It doesn't have it, and it starts inside. Because you're worried about it inside. You get emotionally upset through the mental, emotional filter. And it does affect the body's energy balance. Throws the energy out of balance. And Senyama, the first two powers it deals in that strength of mind and body. And then the next one goes right into, second one goes into direction of energy. And then there's also the one called harmony. You learn to harmonize your body's frequencies. There's real healing. That's scientifically learning how to balance your own body frequencies that are already in your body. Those frequencies are out of harm, out of balance, and that's why you're getting sick. And yes, when you get sick, then you become vulnerable to things like flu or whatever else might be out there. So that's the way it goes. It's not the flu first. So you treat the flu. No, you treat what's going on inside. That's treatment. When you try to treat the flu, you're trying to treat the symptoms. Get to the cause. You're out of balance with your universal frequencies and the universal laws in your body. They're out of tune with the universal laws that are around you. One simple thing is here. I'm going to give you an exact example here of how they integrate with each other. If the kidneys were to get ill, how many people, this is a big thing nowadays, kidneys, a lot of people with bad kidneys. When they get out of hand and you don't get it under control, it doesn't happen instantly, over a period of time, it could be years, some cases it could be months, but most of the time it's over the years. And then the kidneys get worse, you cannot do anything about it. You don't know anything about it. Kidney's a kidney, right? What am I supposed to do? I got to have a doctor take care of that. Okay. Maybe you ought to become the doctor then. See, because you can take care of it. Because you learn to control your own life force, your soul, your isness. You are the ionist. You're the one that's putting that life force in the body, and you're the one that knows how to guide it. You're the one that moves it from one organ to the next, to the next, to the next, and the next, and that form every single day of a person's life, 24 hours a day, and year after year after year, the exact same cycle. That's you doing that. When you know what the cycle is, then you, as soul, as an individual, know how to direct this energy to heal yourself with and get you back in harmony. That's knowing what's going on inside you. That's understanding illness and disease and wanting to really help yourself. I've given a little talks before on this illness stuff, but not like I'm trying to do tonight. I'm desperately trying to get something out here so that people will understand that this is not something to be joking about, especially now that they started G5, it's just 5G. It's already up and running in some places, my friends. It's not something that's going to come and happen. It's already happened. They're just trying to put it together as quick as they can. The firemen that went in here in California, boy, it didn't take very long for them to get hit by it. Did you read about that? Hear about it on the news? On the regular news, you'd never hear it. They hardly ever said anything about the fire. But you get on the alternative news, you find out that they'll tell you exactly what happened down there. The firemen, when they interview them, they're out there, there's a bunch of them fighting the fire, and all of a sudden, little by little, someone started not thinking right, having head pains, couldn't function as a fireman. They took them out, and little by little, there was more had to pull them away from the fire. Doing a little check on them and going over the physical end of it with them, to find out that they got all of them had the same common denominator: brain problems. Something had infected their brains. Gee whiz, and these firemen have been fighting fires all over the country and sometimes all over the world. And all of a sudden they go into California where the fires are started intentionally by weapons. These are weapons they're using against the people. It's a laser. You ever saw any of the pictures that they put out on they're taking? You would see it in a flash. Only a laser can cut a house right in half, like it showed in one of them. It literally cut the house right in half, and one half was laying on the ground in total shambles. The other half was still standing there without anything burn mark on or anything, and all the furniture still in place inside the house. They got a nice, clear picture of it. That was nobody starting a fire intentionally or by accident. That was started from above. People now got pictures of where they see the laser beam coming down. See, these are the type of things that are going on. You're not going to be around long enough to survive some of this stuff. You're going to continue to live your life if we don't handle this kind of stuff. We don't know how to protect ourselves. You want to worry about your health? Well, we better start worrying about it out there, because everything they're doing is affecting our health. Ask the firemen. Didn't take them very long. They did a test as far as how long it would take talking on your phone was stuck to your ear instead of setting it out on the table and talking to it on the speaker. They showed with an MRI. They showed where one guy spent, I think it was 10 or 15 minutes talking on his phone with it next to his ear. When they did the MRI, you could see the red damage. There's a red color code. And you could see the damage in one part of his brain that was already starting to develop because he held the phone up to his ear. And then did it with another guy who did not hold the phone up to his ear. His brain stayed pretty natural. They're out there. There's people out there testing with scientific equipment trying to find this stuff out. You got to be aware of it, though, so you know how to go along with us and the lead. So we can take the knowledge that comes from Sanyal, because it covers everything. It's not just focused in one area, breathing, or just one area, such as strictly just as healing. It will make you supernatural, give you back to your supernatural abilities back that you lost when you came here, that they took away from you when you got here. You'll get them back. And you'll also start finding yourself being able to work your way towards immortality. You understand the science of what's going on with the planet. We know right now that the planet's on its in the process of going into going to reverse itself. Okay. Get off of the rotation we're on right now. The rotation we're in right now is destroying this planet and the people on it, their consciousness. That's why the planet's off tilt. Being off tilt. Scientifically now, the planet is going the wrong direction. Well, when you got energies that are supposed to be going one direction, which is the positive direction, and then you got good positive things on the planet, good health and everything else. But once it's been going the wrong way, going the other way for years, and it's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, which is way too long, it should have been back on the positive side. And people now, it's going counterclockwise, and the planet is off its axis. The planet has literally slowed down. It's science saying they know it. The planet is slowing down. It has slowed down, and it's been going that way for years now, in the slower pattern than what it's supposed to be going, counterclockwise. That generates aging, and it's off tilt. Well, the planet off tilt creates drag on the planet's speed of motion. And when speed is slowed down, and Einstein proved this a long time ago with an aircraft, putting the pilot in a time clock by using one of those two powerful atom clocks, atomic clocks. One was in the hangar bay, the other was in the cockpit with the pilot. He proved it back then. That speed is what slows down time. Because time causes aging. Time is an aging thing. You get speed going, time goes away. There is no such thing as time anymore because there's no such thing as aging. So when you scientifically get a planet going back around the way it's supposed to, as it's doing in this pole shift, that's where it's headed, and it's going to go full speed, and then when it gets back on the right track again, the planet will be able to pick up its speed again. And it'll go to the proper speed it's supposed to be going, and it won't have that drag anymore because it'll be off its axis, on its axis, so the axis is not going to be causing drag, slows it down, and slow down, less speed, more aging. Going the wrong direction, aging, illness, and disease due to aging. It's all going the wrong direction. It's just about the way the science is working, that's all. This whole ship's supposed to bring the planet back going the other way. Well, that'll cause the planet to speed up. It'll make some changes on the surface of the planet, but it's going to cause the planet to speed up. It'll bring it up off its axis, and it'll go to the proper speed. And on the axis, there'll be no drag, so it can hold that speed from there on out. And see, anybody on this planet, because once it gets full speed and it's going the right direction, there's so much speed, it'll go so fast that time can no longer exist. Senyama, there's a level in the gamma state of Senyama that you will get to experience, and you'll get a chance to experience it with your own self, right there with your own body. You go into the gamma state, and you're going to find that's what's happening. You're going to be moving at the speed of light almost, and you're going to see how difficult it is to move. And you're going to realize, you're going to hear this, you're going to hear it, you're going to see it, you're going to feel it and experience it. Right there, at that top level of Sanyal. It's the same thing that goes on in the universe. I've been there. That's the reason I can stand up and attest to this 1 billion times over. I was there. I went through that. Thank goodness for the universe, because that's where you find out about how speed reduces time, and time stops. Almost stops. And if you hit it past time, at the speed of light or faster, then time completely stops. And that means the planet will be going so fast on its axis and in the right direction. Excuse me. That it's going in the right direction, so there'll be no more drag. And the planet's not opposite axis, so there's no drag there. Now you got immortality. That means this planet's going so fast, time slows down, just like Einstein proved the clocks. The time slowed down when that jet plane came back and broke the sound barrier. This way back there when they were doing good to break the sound barrier. But he tested it, and the two clocks the atomic clocks were exactly the same time. Down, so you've heard about the atomic clocks, the most accurate clocks in the world. And they were both at the exact time with each other, and a bunch of scientists and military people were standing at a table inside the hangar bay with one of the clocks while the other one was in the cockpit with the pilot. And he took off and came by the hangar bay and hit the afterburners, and he broke the sound barrier. When he came back, just from that, imagine what it would have been if he could have gone with the speed that pilots fly today. And when he came back, that atomic clock that was in his cockpit was slower in time than the one sitting on the ground. Those people on the ground, in other words, were still experiencing real time. And they're still experiencing age. And their telomeres were still aging. The pilot was different. In that moment, he was flying at that speed. Just in that moment, he experienced immortality. His telomeres did not speed up. They reduced because he was moving faster than he was approaching that at the speed of light when he broke that sound barrier. But it was fast enough to make him be able to experience that and realize he didn't see that moment or so. He didn't age. He was in altered time. The scientists were in real time, Earth time. He went into altered time. Universal fourth-dimensional time. He moved out of the third dimension and went into the fourth. Same thing that is taught in the group. So, I know I'm putting a lot of information out to you guys again, but I'm hoping that you guys are ready for this and consume all this. So, I'm going to jump right to it here. Because, like I say, there's so many areas this could go in, but I want to keep it down to the areas I have here right now. I think I'll give you enough of background on it, and I want Sanyama to know what it's all about. If you don't know, join up, and you'll find out in a very short time. Here we go. Taoist is a Chinese term, and what it means is or it's also short for Taoist is Tao. And it sounds like you'd say saying it with a D, D-O-W, but it's not. This is Chinese. It's T-A-O. Tao. It's still pronounced Tao. It sounds like you'd say here in the Western world, we say with a D. Over there, it's Tao. Taoism. Taoism. Meaning the inner pathway to enlightenment. Does that sound familiar from what Marx has been saying? You see that the Chinese have been doing it for over 6,000 years. They know that the inner pathway of enlightenment is the way to go. It's what's in here and not out there. What you can do with your abilities that you have, that you can also help change out there for the better of all mankind. And that's the purpose of what we're doing in the League. We're trying to do our part to help change mankind. Mark is doing his by trying to get this planet into, all the people to see of you. Civilization of the universe. And see, I can take that civilization of the universe and take it way out to the way I believe he really means that. Because I know the science behind what he said there. But, anyway, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and start reading this now so you can get this down and hear this. Taoist means inner pathway to enlightenment. The Taoist grand circulation is the giver of cosmic power within and about the Sanyama Master, which is within. Then about means outside. You see how it went? It was inside first, and then outside. That's the only way Senyama works, by the laws of physics. It's inside and then outside, but two forces, equal and an opposite. What's inside is equal out on the outside. If the environment around you is harmonically balanced, then your entire internal environment should be harmonically imbalanced. If you're in tune with the laws around you, but if you're not, and things aren't so good around you, and energy-wise, then energy and your frequencies inside your body are going to be reduced just by that, and you'll become ill. And you think it was due to some flu or something. This power comes from the union of the microcosm of life force. Microcosm means the smallest world, the smallest thing of atoms, in other words, along with the macrocosm forces of the primordial existence. Macrocosm means universe. So I want you to know that, because you'll probably hear that come up a few more times, or at least another time, I think. Microcosm means you, inside your universe. Your brain is known by science. It is called a 3-pound universe. Science calls the brain, because it usually, most brains they've ever come against weigh 3 pounds. So it's a 3-pound universe, because it's still, the brain is so full of mysteries. They don't have all the answers to the brain. They think they got all the answers so much to the body, but not the brain. It's a 3-pound universe. So that's small. That's micro. It's like a microscope, microcosm. So the power in Senyama comes from the union, and in you, from the union of the two different ones, two different forces, equal and opposite, coming together. Microcosm of life force with the macrocosm forces of the primordial existence. These forces must be brought into harmony, and is one of our 9 powers of Senyama. In Chinese, it'd be called Tai, T-A-I. Tai meaning harmony. So, these forces must be brought into harmony from within. Left unbalanced, they greatly hinder your ability to direct your energies and to heal self and others. Plain and simple. The law of the universe, left unbalanced. In other words, the blind can't lead the blind, the sick can't heal the sick. The confused can't straighten out the confused. Left unbalanced, they greatly hinder Chu, C-H-U, which means strength of mind and body. There's your meditation. It hinders that. So if somebody's trying to meditate with their energies out of balance, whatever they're trying to meditate for isn't going to be harmonically tuned enough to do what they really would like for it to do. So they hinder greatly the Chu, strength of mind and body, and Shen, S-H-E-N, Shen, direction of energy. Can you direct your energies? But in harmony, they emit tremendous power and insight from the spirit of man to the soul and into the body. As there's 3 more of them, of the 9 powers. Tongue, that means mastery of time and space. Hua, control of the elements. These are skills you develop. And then finally, Dao, the pathway, the inner pathway to enlightenment. When the first 8 are done, you accomplish them. Then the number 9, the 9th power, is when you actually say you are a master of the 9 powers. The grand circulation is done in 2 stages. Equal and opposite again. You see, you could just read that, and nobody ever think a word about that. So yeah, 2 stages. Okay, so what? See, people don't see the science. They look at it from earthly understanding. In the league, you're taught to start trying to see things more scientifically that you experience in your life. There's not a day in my life that I don't get out on the road, but I'm checking things out from a point of physics, a point of 4th dimensional, if nothing else. I'm I'm out there looking for what's going on. I don't take this environment around me for granted. I find out I want to know what makes this environment tick. So I'm out here looking at things, finding out things. I'm walking many thousands of miles, so to speak, in the shoes. I'm making it real, so I know what I'm talking about. I'm not just saying it, reading something to somebody else. This stuff that I'm reading to you right now is stuff that I write down from my own personal experiences from the age of 8 to my present age now. Well over half a century. I mean, that's, yeah, well over half a century. The grand circulation is done in 2 stages, just like it's supposed to be. First stage is the lower circulation, and then comes the next circulation that creates the grand circulation, in which the Sanyama Master is born. When the Sanyama Master learns how to do, how many of you know that you got 5 different brainwave frequencies? Every human on the planet has 5 different brainwave frequencies. Why? Because it's just something, the body is just made up because, it's cool, we've got 5 brain frequencies. We only use 1, or maybe 2, yeah. The only ones that ever use the least one, the bottom one, number 1, which is the smallest and the weakest brainwave frequency, is beta. There's your AC people. You want to know where they are? They're in beta range. They're 5W, and they're 5 senses. That's what they do. Alpha is the next one. Alpha waves. There's where the people who are now trying to seek, they're starting to seek. They no longer want to be AC. So they're seeking. So they stepped on the alpha waves, which is the bridge wave, known as the bridge, to the theta waves. And theta means spirit or soul, mainly soul. It's a bridge. You get into beta alpha waves. Most people on this planet now that are seekers and highly aware people are at least in alpha. There's 3 levels to alpha, 3 levels to the other 3 brainwave frequencies that come after alpha. All 5 of them have 3 levels to. And so, you go there. You go from alpha, 1, 2, 3 levels. That's some awareness. You start getting a better idea of what's going on. You're changing your perspective about yourself. There's a term we use. You just stop, change, and start. Stop living the old ways that you've been living. And look where it got you today. Look at what you're doing. Look at who you are, where you are. What kind of successes have you had? How many failures have you had compared? Stop, change, and start means to stop living the old ways, change to something new that's scientific and works, which is what the people in the league are doing, and then start living what's the new thing. You don't continue to go back to living the old way. That's 3-dimensional. You're back there where you're going to be living by the 3-dimensional laws again and facing illnesses and disease and death all the time. The 4th dimension and above, you've got a chance now to get into the higher frequencies of the mind and get into expanded, which is theta, delta, and gamma. Gamma is the highest. There's the brainwave frequencies, and you get better and wiser and better and better. And your abilities get much better. If you stick it out, you can't change overnight. You can't change a lifetime overnight. A lifetime of not knowing this and think you're going to do it in 3 easy lessons. I give out no red pills. I make that clear. I don't have things that I can put in a pill, you just take it, you got it in an instant. So, it's in this, the master state comes in the theta, delta, and gamma levels. Theta being the doorway to the soul or ionus, and now you're going to go up to 3 levels of that, gradually expanding and getting more of your supernatural powers back. You'll find out why you're going to need those. It's not to try to be sounding great. That's 3-dimensional thinking. That's AC thinking. technique also involves the use of the primordial spiritual centers. In other words, the spiritual centers are the chakras. Those of you familiar with the chakras and the human aura. From a scientific point of view, we do it, not from mythology. Well, that's the way they did it. That's the way people say it. That's the way they've had it going for years. Yeah, well, we support it with science. So, this technique, this Taoist technique, Sanyama, also involves the use of the primordial spiritual centers, chakras, and the body's meridians. Now, that's an acupuncture. That has to do with the 12 organs I was telling you about. That everybody has. You got 12 organs in your body that create light. You got to learn how they function, because believe me, they function according to the laws of physics. You'll learn that real quick. That's why they're in two places, two separate places. There's that dualism again. Positive and negative energies. You got 6 of them in your rib cage. Those are the negative ones, and you got the other 6 are outside the rib cage to bring food into the body and nutrition and stuff like that in order to help you to get your vital force and keep it alive. On the other side of that fence, though, is the life force. Okay? And it's inside the rib cage. Those 6 organs in there are the ones that are most vital. You got your liver, your heart, the pericardium, that's the one the sac around the heart. You got your spleen, you got your lungs, you got your kidneys. Those are the 6 organs that sustain you and your life by life force. Yeah, I know the blood runs through it. You think that's the answer to it. It's not. The blood's going through it because of you, because the soul's there. The I-ness is present. It's you keeping the body going. It's not the blood doing it. The blood's doing it because you got it going. So there's a meridian. Actually, there's 14 of them in the body. You'd learn this. There's 14 of them in the body. 2 of them are independent, but yet they're equal and opposite. One's positive and one's negative. The other 12, they integrate with each other. And half of them are negative, half of them are positive. And they're running in every aspect of, you got to run through all 10 of your fingers, all 10 of your toes, up through your legs, up through your arms, your chest, your back, over in your head, your face. Brains are running all over the place, carrying life force. As long as you're putting that life force there, that body stays alive. If you take that life force out, that body dies. So you got you can use the primordial spiritual centers. This technique of Sanyama involves them and the body's meridians, along with the 3 states of the brainwave acceleration. That's theta waves, delta waves, and gamma waves. Gamma is the highest level that any human brain can take. Gamma is the most powerful force there is. The sun is gamma. Get some idea how powerful it is? It can shoot a beam of light here in 8 minutes from out there to here to Earth. Stay under it long enough and you'll see how fast it'll burn you, just like this radiation's going to do. Sunlight is gamma. Lightning is gamma. Gamma comes from the earth too, not just from above. There are lightning bolts that come out of the ground. Been proven scientifically. This acceleration, with those extras, theta, delta, and gamma. This acceleration generates a supernatural state of mind and body as tongue. That's Chinese, meaning master of time and space. Literally, a master of time and space. With this ability right here, when I first went through this, I was actually bending time and space right here on the planet. And I showed the students in the classes by just using a simple envelope exactly how it happens scientifically. It's not a magic trick. When you go invisible, that's not magic, that's science. Understand the physiological structure of the eyes, and understand a little bit about light and radiation, and how you can put your body in a different dimension, and first thing you know, you're invisible. It's all about science. So, tongue is mastery of time and space. You'll recognize this. R is also known as E equals MC squared. Einstein's relativity formula. Energy equals matter squared to the velocity of light. That's Sanyama. At times, a Sanyama master generates high electrical fields and low electrical fields that interact with electrical and non-electrical substances. This is somebody who's just now come out of Sanyama. I went through this exact same thing. That's how I knew what to write down. I walked by something and the electrical energies would interact with light bulbs, electrical cords, lamps outside in a parking lot. They'd flicker, things like that. Because especially when you just did Sanyama for the first time at the gamma state, your body's highly charged, molecularly changed to carry all this extra power, the most powerful force in the universe. Ask any scientist, this universe is loaded with gamma. And when you're dealing with that, your body reacts, integrates with all of the wiring around you, stuff like that. You get all these funny reactions. I used them when I happened to teach my people even further. They would witness it. They're there and they go, wow, how did that just happen? Well, I don't play games. I just say, I'm just a magic trick or I'm supernatural or anything like that, even though it's a supernatural feat. I would share it with them because I want them to do it too. It's all science. It's no trick. So after you've been around these devices for a while, a few days or so, your body absorbs enough and finally balances out the gamma that you went through in Sanyama's highest state. And then when you can walk any place and you won't get any of those reactions anymore. The electricity around you doesn't react to you anymore. It's not because you've lost it. It's because you've learned to control it. And you're ready to move on to something else. So this interaction is not harmful. This electrical exchange going is not harmful to the master, but helpful in healing self and others. Okay, so I'm going to let that go. I want to get into a little bit of each one of these things here. Here's your pen and paper. I'm going to give you this right now. I want you to have something that you can actually look at and see how this is going to. I'm going to give you the life force how it moves through your body and everybody else's body 24/7, 365 days a year, all over the world. Anybody that's human follows this pattern. And this pattern's been around for well over 6,000 years. And it's been proven. This is the scientific way the body functions. The science. So here we go. Get ready to write this down. The first organ that's going to be on the scale would be this. The liver. It's a negative. I'm giving it to you in the order it happens. I'm not messing it up, scrambling it up. This is the exact order. The life force that you have soul puts in the body. It'll go from the liver to the lungs. And the lungs is also a negative. You see, the liver is negative, the lungs are negative. Now watch what happens here. The liver is negative, equal and opposite, so the lungs are negative. Here goes another equal and opposite again, in kind of a different way though. So that's a negative. Now the energy is going to leave the lungs. It stays in the lungs for a while, then it moves out and it'll go to the large intestine. That is a positive. You see, it came from a negative to a positive. Once it's been in the large intestine for a while, it'll go to the stomach. After it leaves the large intestine, it'll move into the stomach, which is a positive polarity. Scientifically, it's a positive energy. That organ is positive, and the frequencies it puts off. Now it leaves the stomach and moves into the spleen, which now is a negative, see? And it moves now from the spleen to the heart, which is a negative. See, it's in pairs. Negative, negative. So you look at now, what you have there right now, let's kind of look at this. Go back up to the liver. Liver and lungs. They're connected. They're both negative. Now you go over here, the life force moves from the lungs, goes to the liver. It's a positive, and the large intestine, and a positive in the stomach. You know, so see, these now are paired off together. It's equal and opposite. It's two of them negative, two of them positive. And now look what happens. We went to the spleen of the heart. Now let's come back to two negatives. This rhythm is going to go all the way around. This rhythm is all through all 12 organs. In other words, liver and lungs. Two negatives. Large intestine and stomach. Two positives. Equal and opposite. See, your life force moves according to the law. Equal and opposites. That moves with two positives and goes into two negative organs, spleen and the heart. And when it gets into the heart, it's going to go to two positives, because those are negative, right? Spleen and heart are negative. So what's it going to do? The next two organs it hits are going to both be positive. So it goes from the heart to the small intestine. Positive. And goes from the small intestine to the bladder. Positive. Later on, so you learn how to use this chart right here, because this tells you exactly how the health of your body is going. If it's on this cycle I'm giving you right now, you're healthy. But there's also one that's not so healthy. It's a whole different cycle. But this is a cycle of health. So we're at the bladder, which is positive. That's just been there for a little bit. It goes into the kidneys. The life force does. Moves from the kidneys and goes to the pericardium. That's the sac around the heart. Both of those, the kidneys and the pericardium, are both negative. You see? Equal, here we are, dualism again. But it's equal and opposite when it goes to the next two, because the next two organs are positive. So there's the law of equal and opposite coming in. So the laws are right here. One force can't exist without its equal and opposite. You got a negative kidney, you got to have a positive pericardium. Now, these two are going to get changed because they're negative, going to go into positives. So we've got equal and opposites. These are equal to opposite of the other two negatives and two positives. So the next one's from the pericardium is TW, meaning triple warmer. Triple warmer basically is about your circulation, organs in the body that absorb a lot of moisture and stuff. Your blood circulation is triple warmer. It's a positive. Then it'll move from the positive triple warmer into the gallbladder. That's right inside of your liver. See, and in the gallbladder is a positive again. And now the life force that you're generating in that body to keep it, it's you that's keeping the body alive and healthy. It's up to you. Now you're going to go from the gallbladder back to the liver again. See, now you're changing equal and opposite. It's going from the positive in the gallbladder to the negative of the liver, because the gallbladder is inside the liver. Equal and opposite again now. And then you start the dualism again. Goes from the liver again to the lungs, and they're both negative. Now, if you count those cycles I just gave you, there's 12 of them. Okay, so if you got, there's 12, there's your 12 organs in the body that sustain life. Now, you got, that means then that you got 12 of them, the life force stays in there, a little bit in each one of them for a while, That's 2 hours, and it goes, so you got 12 times 12, it's 20, 12, but 12 is 24. There's your 24 period, right there. Your 24 hours a day is right here, what I just gave you. That's your life force moving through your body, and a life force that you are putting there, not the body. You're putting it in there. It's your life force that's going through the body. It's your life force that's creating this. You're feeding life force to each one of these organs in the order I just gave to you, so they stay healthy. And it stays, as long as your energy stay in this cycle that I just gave you, you're healthy. But there is the other side of it. I don't have time to go through that. So there's 12 of them here. It stays. Life force is going to be 2 hours in each one of them. There's 24 hours. There's your 24 hours of existence right there. And there's your health right there. Anything outside that, you're on the ill cycle. And at that point, the dualism and the equal and the opposite don't quite work that way. That's what leads to illness and disease, and eventually could be fatal. Because you broke the laws of physics. This is the laws of physics in this thing. This is what causes life. But when it goes on a destructive cycle, because you get ill, you don't treat the ill, then it turns to a disease. You don't treat the disease. It could be fatal. It's the 3 steps to the cycle of death. Illness, disease, and then death. And this cycle I just gave you won't be that same cycle when you get ill. There's something else you'd be learning. Now, let me move from there. As I said, I'm not giving full things here. We don't have time to be doing that. Here's your 5 elements. And believe me, the 5 elements are the laws around you. And I'll give you an example. 5 elements are in your everyday life. Outside in your daily world life, these 5 elements exist. But they also exist in relationship to the organs inside your body. Now, let me give you a quick example. Since the kidneys, if they get ill, and you don't do something about it, you're going to get off that life cycle I just gave you. That's the life cycle. So if your kidneys get ill, it could be any organ, but let's say it's the kidneys. And so it gets ill, and now it goes for years, and it starts kind of coming into a disease. That disease, you're on this other cycle by that time. You're on the illness cycle, which means the rhythm now has been totally destroyed. It's not going pair to pair, 2 pairs, minus, plus, plus, negative, negative, plus, plus. No, it's a plus, maybe a negative, and a negative, and a negative, net plus. And it ricochets all around in your body. The life force there is out of control, and that's what leads to illness, disease, and can be fatal. That's the science that causes illness. That's what starts inside the body at a cellular level. The cells go rogue because of that. It's the cells of that organ communicating and receiving positive energies coming from your life force. That positive energy starts to deteriorate because the cells start breaking down. They can't communicate together anymore to hold things in a good, healthy state. So you get rogue cells, and the rogue cells spread the disease in the organ. And eventually it can go from one organ to the next, such as what I'm explaining. Kidneys is already now in that disease state. It stays that way very long on the destructive cycle, on the unhealthy cycle that you don't have yet. On that unhealthy cycle, this is exactly where it would happen. Just say it was the kidneys. The kidneys don't get taken care of. The first place that disease is going to go, the next organ that it's going to go to is your heart. And that's a fact. The disease will move from your kidneys because at that point on the destructive cycle, it's called the unhealthy cycle, the organs correlate and integrate with the wrong organs. The kidneys are negative. So is the heart. So a negative is attacking the negative. So the negative is spreading the disease of the kidneys into the heart. And it can eventually cause a heart attack. Now, or a disease that can lead to that. So you got these your kidney situation, and now instead of being on the healthy cycle, being contributing to the other organs it should be contributing to, it's no longer. It's attacking the organs. In this case, it's attacking the heart, as I said. And so the energy in the kidneys, that you have to do something about that. If you want to try to heal the heart, you got to heal the kidneys. Because now those two are integrating together, the heart and the kidneys. Not a good sign. They're integrating together. You got to separate that integrating, because what it's going to do is the kidneys will spread the disease to the heart will spread the disease down to the lungs will give the disease to the liver. This is the exact angle. This is the exact pattern it goes, and it'll go from the liver to the spleen, and then the disease will move from the spleen back to the kidneys again, and now you've got all 6 organs diseased. And that's probably where you're going to find death. Remember, illness first, disease next, and then death. That's your 5 elements. Now, the 5 elements, using this as an element. The kidneys, I gave you this simplest side of it. The kidneys can cause a problem for the hearts. Okay, so let's go outside in the daily world and apply a couple of these elements here. Now the 5. Is it not a fact? Is it not a literal scientific fact that if you take water and you throw it on a fire, water will destroy the fire? Is that not true? The water sure doesn't increase the fire. You throw water on a fire in your everyday life using those laws of the elemental laws. These are laws. It's a law of the universe that water destroys fire. It's not made up. It's a simple fact, as you know. Well, then when you take those same laws, you go inside the body, and you realize that the kidneys, since it deals in liquids, is a water element, and the heart, since it generates heat by its motion and pumping the blood, that's the fire element. So the same thing happens. So then it's a scientific fact that the kidneys will destroy the heart. Being the water, kidneys are the water element, send the disease over to the heart, it'll destroy the heart. That's the water being going into the heart, going to destroy the heart, or you can take and say the fire element. Then it goes through the whole cycle again until it takes all 6 organs out. This is the science of healing and well-being. Is this. You know exactly where it's going to go and when it's going to go. You know exactly where it's going to go and when it's going to go. From this organ to that organ. As long as you know what the pattern is, you can actually use your own mind abilities to correct the situation. You can use herbs to correct the situation, because we also deal in herbs. So you can use herbs to correct that situation. You can use acupuncture, or you can just use acupressure if you know the alarm points. Remember those meridians I was telling you about? Look to all 12 of the organs. There's a meridian. Those are little invisible energy lines that run out of all your fingers, toes, and all through your whole body. Life force travels through those meridians and goes to the organs. So there's 12 meridians, 12 organs. And energy is traveling in all 6 of them 12 are negative, 6 of the other 12 are positive, equal and opposite. You see, your body's designed that way. 6 of the organs inside your rib cage are negative, the other 6 are outside your rib cage. There's dualism again. So that's one way of looking at how the elements, in this case here, these fire and water element work. So now here's the 5 elements.
Robert, can I jump in for a sec? This is Steve.
Yeah.
Robert, yeah, you've got 5 minutes. I just want to let you know that's how much value you've been giving us. The 2 hours are almost up. It's amazing.
Okay.
It's been amazing. It's phenomenal. But I have to bring a gentleman named Walter on, who I promised he wanted to do some presentation just for a few minutes. So if you could do 5 minutes as a wrap-up. We're not going to do Q&A, everybody, because this value was a lesson tonight. So take this. You can go back and listen to the playback. Hopefully you took great notes. Robert, this was really over the top, the knowledge. You were just dynamic. So thank you. So I'll let you go for 5 more minutes, and don't forget to advertise and promote yourself at that point also.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
the 5 elements, thank you. The 5 elements are this. You have fire, air, earth. I'm sorry, I put that wrong one there. You have the, let's do it this way. You have the wood element first, then the fire element, then the earth element, then the air element, then the water element. There's your 5 your elements. And every one of them work just like the kidneys do with the heart. They always have an equal and an opposite. All those laws that I just gave you are going to always work with 2 different organs. They're either going to make them healthy or they're going to make them diseased. Okay. So I mentioned we do get into herbs and stuff. Further along, we also do studies with the aura scientifically. We take you into the polarity flow of the human aura and man, and this polarity flow tells a whole lot about your health, for one thing. And seeing the aura, it also tells you about a person's health, both physically and spiritually. We break all that down for you. And so, as I said earlier, we have you can get a hold of me by Robert.th99 Gmail
4709. The access code 748